Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome to English Right Now. My name is Roy, and I'm your British English teacher. And on this channel, we talk about all things related to British English and a modern British RP accent. And today, we're talking about something very important. We're talking about tea, but not just a cup of tea. We're talking about language related to tea. So let's start off with some common idioms. Number one is a storm in a teacup. A storm in a teacup is an argument or problem which has been exaggerated to the point of being ridiculous. So it's a situation where there's a lot of anger and unnecessary worry. In other words, people are just acting a little bit irrationally. So if two people want to watch different things on the television, one wants to watch one thing on the telly, another wants to watch another, and they start really arguing and it gets ridiculous and a real sort of angry situation, you could say, guys, come on, this is nothing. It's just a storm in a teacup. Let's calm it down. Or, you could even use this in work or in politics where a situation or an argument gets unnecessarily heated. We could say, come on, let's calm it down. This is just a storm in a teacup. As much use as a chocolate teapot is one of my personal favorite tea-related idioms. And a teapot is something that we can use to brew a cup of tea in. We put the tea bags in and then some hot water. But if the teapot were made of chocolate, it would melt instantly. So if we say that someone or something is as much use as a chocolate teapot, it means they are useless. My old phone broke. It's as much use as a chocolate teapot. In other words, it's completely useless. Not for all the tea in China basically means that something is never going to happen. You are completely unwilling to do something. So if I say, I would never go to your house for all the tea in China, it means that I am completely unwilling to do something. Or she would never date Dave, the guy who's as much use as a chocolate teapot, for all the tea in China. In other words, it's never going to happen. She is completely unwilling to date Dave. Not my cup of tea is a classic, and it basically means it's not really my taste. It's not really my thing. Now, this one possibly gets overused, and it's not as common as it once was. But if you say that something is not your cup of tea, it means you're not really interested in it. You don't really like it. It's not your personal interest. So, for example, football, it's not really my cup of tea. In other words, I don't really enjoy football. Now, spill the tea is a more modern idiom, which basically means to give somebody the latest gossip or news. In other words, to gossip. So, what? No, I haven't heard about Dave and Sharon. Go on, spill the tea. So, in other words, tell me the gossip to me. Now, a couple of other tea-related expressions include tea leaf. If you describe somebody as a tea leaf, it means thief. Now, tea leaf is Cockney rhyming slang, which means thief. Tea leaf, thief. So if somebody describes you as a tea leaf, you're a thief. Now, this one isn't very common outside of Cockney rhyming slang, and it is mostly used for quite humorous effect. The same as calling a cup of tea Rosie Lee. Rosie Lee, again, is more common in Cockney rhyming slang. It doesn't get used as much in the wider population, but you may hear it more humorously. Again, Rosie Lee. Lee rhymes with tea, so Rosie Lee refers to tea. And a couple of other words that you may hear tea described as, or tea called, include a cup of chai, a cup of char instead of chai. You could hear it referred to as a brew. Oh, do you fancy a brew? Do you fancy a brew? Would you like a brew? Would you like a cup of tea? So brew is more common in the north than it is in the south, but we still use it across the country. Next up, we have a cuppa. A cuppa. A cuppa is probably the most common one that you'll ever hear. And a cuppa basically is a shortened form of a cup of tea. A cup of tea. A cup of tea. So if you hear somebody say a cuppa, it means a cup of tea. And if you hear somebody refer to a cup of tea as builders, or a builder's, or a cup of builders, or a builder's tea, it means a very, very strong mug of tea. So it's really, really dark. There's very little milk in there. And yes, in the UK, we do drink with milk. And I love a good cup of builders. So let me know in the comments below how you take yours. And if you do want to learn more about the UK and the do's and don'ts, the things that you should do here, you can check out this lesson here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next class.